you're here to listen to wonderful program coming to you. And please don't forget to subscribe or give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Yeah, welcome to KJTV. And in the studio we have Sam Mwangi, the President and CEO of Global Fatherhood. Welcome, Sam.
Well, thank you again, Dr. Josh. I'm so much grateful and happy Father's Day to all the fathers who are watching this program today.
Okay, thank you. And we have Benson Umundi. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Daktari, for the invitation, and happy Father's Day to all responsible fathers out there.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a happy Father's Day. And we have had, me and Sam, we have a long history about this. We always have a talk show. And for that, we want to wish you all a happy
Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to every man where they fight for their responsibility.
Okay, I think that is good for you fathers. I know you are wonderful fathers. Now, as usual, is as a Father's Day. We don't want to delve much about Father's Day, but it's a day of reflection as fathers. And we are talking about diaspora fathers. And you happen to be those diaspora fathers who we are having a challenge about diaspora fathers. The reason is the brief history. Some fathers who are now here, diaspora fathers, when they came to this country, they only came to work hard, change their life, go to school, go back to their country, and live there happily thereafter. But as time went, things changed. They have settled, they're here. Now they are facing old age in a different country where they never anticipated to get old, which they have to face the reality, and then retirement is coming, and some of these challenges. Now, I want to hear from you. What is your take? How to diaspora fathers, those who were never prepared to stay at old age, but it has gotten them here? Sam.
First of all, I want to say thank you again, even for having this conversation again, because like I said, it's always happening. It always happens on Father's Day. I think now we'll be eating either it's our 4th year or 5th year. I don't know. But Dr. Josh, thank you for giving this space for myself and my team and the visitors who are here to come and have this discussion here. The diaspora, the dilemmas that you mentioned, which involved several significant life decisions that are going to impact our fathers. Coping with old age, choosing a settlement location, and also dealing with great divorce. This will be challenging. And I can say this, and I think we need to take one by one so that we can know where we are. For example, let's cope up with old age. We are growing. We have been in this country for a long time, and we are aging. And this is going to actually start impacting our physical, emotional, and social changes. But how do you cope with this? Because as we go through this, number one, we have to maintain a good health life. You know, we have to engage in exercise. We have to work out. Again, you have to think about what kind of hobbies do you want to pursue. You know, pursuing hobbies is very good so that you can be able to keep your body workout. And also maintaining social connection, which adds a positive life experience in your life. Now, as you come to old age, remember our kids again, a very important factor. They're going to be living away from our life, you know. So how do you start maintaining connections? Because you have to be either in a group or you have to join organizations or you have to be in activity whereby you want also to start improving on your mental health. Because it does not mean, because it will mean that as this old age comes, you know, impacting your physical health, you're going to be staying by yourself, you know. And that is where you have to make those decisions. So in other words, I'm saying we need to start preparing. We need to start forming those social groups together. We can be all the older men, we are together. We can come together and maybe start navigating about activities and coming to groups, and also having a social setting whereby we can talk, we can engage, and we can have also maybe a good time, so like Nyamatama together and just share some good times.
No, that's good. Benson, now that you are bringing a perspective as of little youth in terms of fatherhood, we can say you are a young father here.
Yeah.
What is your perspective on that?
Yes, correct. So, Dr. Madi, I think the connection might not have been pretty good, so I didn't get your question. I want to assume that it's basically me giving a preamble of our discussion today.
Oh, you didn't hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I think the connection was not pretty good. I don't know whether you want to run that question again.
I'm saying that what is your perspective about? Did you hear what Sam said?
Yeah. I got Sam's point of view. So
we wanted your perspective as a young father who might have more years to face what we are going to face now.
So let me do this. I can help you around. So basically, what you are saying.
Yeah. So as Sam rightly put it, old age catches up with everyone, and it catches up with that pretty soon than later.
Yeah. Hello, Ben. Are you having connection issues? Hello.
I'm still struggling to hear you, so let me move to a different.
Oh, yeah, Henry, you can't hear us? Hello?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the connection issues.
Oh, Benson.
I can hear you. I wanted to proceed, but then I think I wanted to give Henry an opportunity to confirm whether he's
okay. You can continue.
Yeah. So as Sam basically put it, old age is catching up with everyone, and it does that at an alarming speed. Even some of us who believe who think are young now, it is the right time to start thinking about what will be what our decisions now are going to be. What's the impact of our decisions now in the next 10 20 years, because that's the time we start hitting ages that some decisions would be having effect on us. One thing is for young fathers is there is also a shock. You've not been a father, so it is a new thing. There's a learning curve to it. People their expectations, basically society has put expectations on fathers. So as a young father, you realize that those expectations hit you hard because you're trying to be the perfect father in this sense, and there is the coping that is required. That's why young fathers, I think, are encouraged to probably ensure that they also get into join groups of elderly people, so that they're able to learn from them. They have been there, done that. So that would be a good thing for people who are getting into fatherhood to do. The other thing is creating a social life, because unlike where we come from, the social life here is a little different. You don't get to do the same things you did growing up back in Africa. So there are dynamics that change, and they bring about a lot of challenges as a father, because you have to get very tight schedules between trying to take care of the kids and moving on with life, making sure that you are keeping up with your bills. Those are challenges that young fathers go through, and of course, the main one is sustaining marriage. Young people are dynamic, they're energetic. Couples are all out there trying to have go for their dreams. How do you manage to intertwine your dreams so that you do not have you don't grow apart? Because as you keep your 2 jobs or 3 jobs to keep up the bills, remember you have a family to run. It becomes very overburdening for young people to be able to balance that. So it actually takes a lot of learning from older people to be able to keep the wheel running. That is my perspective in as far as the whole issue of old age and retirement.
Okay, now
Yeah.
very good. Sam, you wanted to say something.
Uh, yes, I think you have raised a very good question. I mean, the comments that you have made, those are very critical because it's going to be a good way to say a learning curve for the young people to really understand how we go through and how things are done. Because uh, when we came here, like we came here with so many expectations here, and our expectations was to come here, make more money, then go back, invest back home, and then relocate back here.
Yeah.
But things are hitting a deadlock here uh, because of the so many things is happening. The economy is changing. We are growing. We are growing old. Are we going to live in that big house you made in a country with so many stairs? Because I know there's so many fathers who are really struggling. We're gonna claim that. Yeah. So that is the thing too. Then again, we're thinking about our health. We're used to the high quality life health here. So where are we going to live? Are we going to have that kind of life? Is it going to impact on your expenses? Is it going to impact on your savings again? And again, it is a very good question again. Coping again, proximity to friends and your kids. So where do you want to live? Where do you want to settle? Where do you want to be, whereby you feel that you still your emotional needs and your social needs are connected? Yeah. So to the youth who are watching this, with the young fathers, actually it's an opportunity whereby you can start early and learn from us. Yeah. It's good also opportunity to reach out and say, how did you do this? How can you do this? Because we want you to be successful in future. Where we made a mistake, we can correct it so you can be able to become more wiser and be ready for the retirement. Yeah.
Okay, Sam, you have really brought a very good question about this. Where these fathers were investing all of their resources back in their home country,
Yes.
and they might not be having good retirement packages. And here, if you don't have retirement packages,
Yes.
it's one serious thing. Like as you say, there was a
Yes.
story which was going through social media where
Yes.
a guy stayed here for 38 years.
Yes.
Then he built a dream home
Yes.
where he was going to retire to, and he retired.
Yes.
He went there, found that the stairs, he's now old, he can't climb the stairs to the bedrooms which were upstairs.
Yes.
I had to convert a dining room to be a bedroom on this level, and
Yeah,
his caretaker is now sleeping in the master bedroom. A situation like that.
And eating good food.
What lessons can we learn from there, Ben?
Yeah, I think we need to, as a people, generally have realistic expectations and ambitions. It is apparently in our culture, or where we come from, the people who have built the biggest homes are considered to be, more prosperous than anybody else. But then they don't look at those factors, the factors of, probably stairs that you have indicated now. And assuming they didn't even talk about stairs, they could even have lifts, you would invest so much and even do lifts in there. And what are the costs of running those when you are already retired?
Yeah.
Those are factors that people would not look at this age, because you are going at it. You have the funds now. You want to put up the biggest, property or development that there is, but then you don't look at the downside of it. So I think it is an illusion in a sense when you look at it. People build big houses in the village. They hardly spend time there. They spend probably in the entire time they have been in the States or in diaspora generally. They have only been in that place and spent at most a week. Of their 20 years of life, they have only been there for 20 years. But then they have put millions and millions of money into that structure as a symbol to the society. So we need to be able to differentiate when is it right to do something to please others, and when is it right to do things that actually develop you as a person. would it have been better to probably put those funds in some investment that would help you when you retire, or what will be the best option to use those funds? And after all, even if you had a hotel, it's also a big challenge, because we also want to create a perception. You don't want to go to your home area and actually go live in a hotel, because what are the villagers going to talk to you about? They want to think this person, you are confused. Why can't you put a house, big enough for you? But then if you put that small house, people are going to still also look at you and wonder, what are you doing in diaspora if you cannot be able to afford, a mansionette or a big environment or development for that matter? Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. and you see, as you said, by that time, instead of putting your money maybe in 401k or other retirement packages, you put your money there, but now you are facing retirement here. Sam, what will you advise such late people who have not invested, but they have now decided to stay because they can't stay in their home country?
What I can say is this: when we start buildings or investing back to our country, this is always done with good intentions here. But what I think is just that the circumstances change as we grow, as we move on, things change here. So to the fathers who are here, and I'll say this: I think it all depends. It will depend on individual needs and how people have planned within how they want to retire. There are those ones who want to retire early. They've already made all the progression. Their houses are ready. They have got a couple of investments, and they will be making some money as they retire. So it's going to depend. But for the people who are not yet ready, they have to think about, where do you want to retire? Do you want to retire here in this country, or do you want to move to a state whereby the taxes are low, or do you want to move to a place whereby the medical is available? Because it's very critical. Even the fathers who have not really prepared, they want to go back to the country. You have to think about the medical part. You have to think about the investment. Is the money that you're going to get, is the savings that is going to sustain you, especially for the fathers who will be hoping not, but who will be going through divorce and they are coping up, because divorce actually changes all the dimensions here, because we're talking about a household of two income having one income. So that means that if you are planning to retire at 65 and you are married, then you go through divorce, it means that you have to work more so that you can be able to sustain and have that income to keep you going. So that means after 65 you'll still be working, and working, and this gonna really impact yourself. Are you still going to invest back their home? Are you still going to move back to a country? So the best thing to do, I tell fathers who are here, we have these conversations here, think about where you are going to be happy, and one thing, the environment here is where your people are. Most of your friends, they are here. They can be able to offer you support. We have community centers. For example, in our city, when you reach over 50 years old, our city sends you information about financial literacy, how to save and how to manage your investments here. So I think we have to make a decision. And I tell people, if you're not ready, I think this will be the best place here, because a lot of us, we're gonna be here, and I think this is already, we call it our home.
Thank you, Henry. I think now you are figured out.
My desktop in the it wasn't working. I couldn't hear you. I decided I will use my iPad.
Okay. Welcome to the show, and the conversation we are having is about the challenges of fathers, diaspora fathers, and we are talking about old age, retirement, whereby we have invested back home, building mansionettes and other things. But now old age has come, you don't want to go home, and you didn't invest. What would you say? And I know you are from the financial sector. Maybe if you can give a green light on that.
You see, the idea of you don't want to go home, like the heart.
You want to go home.
Yeah, the heart tells you I want to go home.
Yes.
That's where I have, the old way of living. You are, longing for our friends in their own, how
Yeah.
you grew up. Recalling back the history of how we grew up.
Mm.
But now we come to reality.
Sure.
Yeah.
Reality is different. Reality is, we have different groups. I don't know if you have talked about it, but when we came to US, we are divided. There are those people who came and left their families back home. They came thinking that I am here just to work hard and go home. So they tried to work and work and send the money back home to build homes and all that.
Mm.
Then we have this family now. After that, we realize we need to bring our families together. We want a unified, we want your children to grow in a good environment, so we brought them all here.
Mm.
Our family has grown. Now we are striving to make sure, those who came as students or who came in, traveling, they are also trying now to marry here and their children are growing here. So the idea now of going home the way we wanted has actually changed, has shifted.
Yeah.
And our younger generation, this is their home. Even us, this is our home now because we have our network here. We have our way of life has been more dominated by, here where we are.
Mm.
The problem we have is that we are still fighting that I have my assets home, I have my home, in whatever. Who is going there is just a misguided, dream we have. Because now, because some people, when we came here, we came others were, older. So we haven't actually established our investments here where we are, so we can retire comfortably here because we have been focusing, sending money. So your investment has been there, but reality is you are going to stay here.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So I have advised the younger people who are here to actually think widely and maybe invest here because their families are going to grow here.
Yeah.
And now for us who came and we have invested back home, sometimes we are in debate because you may want to go, but your wife doesn't want to go. So you are going to be a divided family. And then remember, sickness comes and you are here and the children will be the ones who are going to decide where you are going to go. So what we have to understand is financially, we have actually, people say we have screwed ourselves because we came while we are older, we are working hard to invest, but we have invested in a place that we are not going.
So what do you want to advise us now to do? Those old timers who have wasted their time.
Yes, the old timers, those who have invested home, try to rethink that. Don't overspread yourself.
Mm.
Because overspreading comes whereby you want to own here, you want to own here, but the time is actually limited.
Yeah.
There are some things, properties that we have that even our family may not even know if something happens.
Yeah.
So it will be a loss of your investment, a loss of your asset. So if we can narrow down and say, okay, how do I want to live in retirement? And then wherever you are, because now here again, we are divided. There are people who are business working. So when they are working business-wise, there's no 401k. Actually, they are building, whereby they are sharing, but the employer is investing for them and they are contributing. That link is missing. So for those who are working, I would say double your 401k, whatever you can, because you need to catch up.
Okay.
Then we know there are those older people who are still working, and if you are not 65 yet, but you are about 50, there is what we call the traditional IRA, the investment, or the Roth IRA, which will allow you to catch up where you can put in maybe like now this year about over 7,500 in excess. You are allowed to do that.
Okay.
So that you invest more for your own retirement. That's one aspect.
Oh, good. Now, Another controversial question we are coming is where to settle. We have been having a lot of crisis for many years, even where to bury, because if somebody happens to die here, is expected to be transported home. The remains are supposed to be transported home to be buried in his ancestral land.
Yes.
And we have seen aspect of things changing, where maybe a wife decides he wants maybe the husband to be buried here, or the kids want their father or mother to be buried here. And the village people, they are also fighting that you have to bring the remains back home. We have had, and we have an active case right now. Somebody called it Dennis Bosire. I think somewhere in I don't know whether it's in Indiana. I saw a controversy boiling where the wife was preparing to bury him here, but the village, the people of the village, they want him to be taken home for burial. This is a cultural thing, and we are having here. What advice can you give such families where, because it has broken families, people start fighting, going to court where to be buried and where to settle? Mwangi.
I think that's a very good conversation that we need to start talking about it, because I think we have our culture, but then we are living in a new country whereby things are done differently, whereby we have to change our narrative. We have to think about our loved ones and where we're gonna get buried. I always say this, and I want to say this, and I repeat it. Fathers, when we are here, please have a will.
Mm-hmm.
Have a will and say, this is my decision, this is what I want. I think that one will eliminate so many things here, because we are going to reduce this tug of war between the wife, our spouses, and our villagers here, or sometimes with our kids and spouses here. When you have a will, you have already made your decisions where you want to bury. And I want to say again, our spouses should make the final decision, because you know why? If you didn't make a will, you are married to this man, your spouse and the family should be able to guarantee you and make the final decision. Legally we are living in this country. Again, we have to comply with the laws which are here. We cannot comply with the laws back there because we are living in a new environment and the kids were born here. So number one, legally, and number two, our spouses should have more say if you don't make a decision. And also, men will start having a will. Put that will in writing. This can solve a lot of issues and just navigate and just make those burial ceremonies go peacefully.
Thank you. Benson.
I think I totally agree with Mwangi on that. But maybe the society needs to have some considerations before, pushing the narrative of somebody has to be flown home for burial. We need to look at who does the death impact most. Mm-hmm. Does it impact most the villagers? Not at all. It impacts the immediate family. It impacts the spouse. It impacts the kids. And those are the people who, once somebody is dead, who would have who have the immediate challenge of how to cope with life. And those people should be able to be given an opportunity to be able to make a decision on exactly how it proceeds. Of course, the will, as Mwangi put it, would cut down on those discussions, because at the end of the day, the will carries the day. If somebody wants to be buried here, there's nobody who's going to bully anybody about whether they have to be flown, whether even the spouse wants otherwise. It might be a little interesting to look at it from that point. But I think, in my opinion, in all fairness, the people who are most impacted by the loss should be given an opportunity to be able to make that decision, because they live through the turbulent times when one is gone.
Thank you, Henry.
But the will actually reduces the pressure within the family, which is something that we need to encourage. But there are people, when we talk about culture, we are talking about the people in the village who don't value what a will is, because they think they own the dead person. So now
interesting.
That's how That's how they think. But we need now to sensitize our own families and tell them, when you are still alive here, what do you think? I'm of the opinion that we need to discuss this with the family when you are still alive. Bring it as a discussion and what do you think? Talk to the family when you are still alive. Let the will be there to pack up, But at the same time, like, Benson has said, the impact is actually more on the immediate family. And when they are most impacted, they should be given the priority to decide. Because I remember so many years back when our people, when we used to have the scheme, in DC, we used to have a scheme, where people used to, and guy there was going to be flown all the way to be taken back to the original place where he came from. That died. Now people started getting buried in the scheme. People who died in Nairobi started getting buried in Nairobi. Those who bought land in Kitale, Eldoret, Mombasa, and they started getting buried there.
Yes.
How would that be different from somebody now who is out of the country and he has died there? Why can't they be given that priority? Because those villagers who are saying bring him here, ask them, will you be able to pay for the ticket to bring that body home?
Definitely they will not.
They will not. So how do you want the body to come and yet you don't have a way of transporting the body?
Yeah.
Because you cannot ask bring, and yet in reality you don't have to offer. You are not offering any solution to the problem of financial support to the immediate family. So the financial element and the decision as to where somebody will be buried remain within the wife, the family. That if the children are there, let the children be involved. If the wife is there, let the wife decide. And most of all, because there could be a time where your children are divided. Some will be somewhere else, others will be somewhere else. So let the will, if we can all have the will ready, I think it will solve a lot of problems.
Now, the culture, the people in your community owns you. More especially like the group which we say where our umbilical cord is buried. You are owned by the community, and the community thinks that it comes first before your wife and the children, that they will make a decision for that. And that is one of the areas which is a very gray area, that the community comes back, and at times even your somebody's spouse will coil because they would threaten, and how the village would threaten, and they don't even respect the
will
you have written. But other than writing a will, is it hard for you to make it to your community, the village back home, that in the event of my death, this is what I want, even say it verbally to them?
You see, that's why I said earlier that involve, bring it as a discussion. So that discussion could start from your nuclear family, maybe spread, but there is a problem with that at home. When you start talking about dying and you're dead. Yeah, so to them that's a bad omen. You are bringing something against the family belief or this and that. So there are those cultural things. Yes, we have to talk a little bit, but also we have to be sensitive, because people will start saying, "Oh, this guy even talk about his dying, he's going to die, how he's going to be buried, and yet he's still alive." So those things are still there. So it's good to discuss, but the will will pack up your discussion in just case.
I really wanted to bring one of the things, because one of the other challenges that fathers are likely to face is great divorcee. We mean great divorcee comes from like a divorcee maybe slightly above 50. When you get divorced when you are old, that's when you have gray hair, and it becomes a challenge. And I want to use one practical example. We have one of our greatest scholars who was recently divorced at 85. Professor Ngugi Gwationg, you can see that's the man there, Ngugi Gwationg, sick, divorced, and lonely at 85. This is one of our great scholars who had written so many books. And you know, because of the way this country is, that is very normal. You know, sometimes if you are divorced when you are young and strong, it becomes so different when you are old.
Yes.
How would we need to get prepared, like fathers need to get prepared that such things are likely to happen?
Dr. Josh, you when you talk about the great divorce, you are touching a phenomenon which actually is going to happen. And I can tell you, after our kids, we raise them, they go to college, and you have spouses living together. There will be a lot of loneliness, there will be a lot of disagreement, and there will be a lot of separation. And this is actually going to impact fathers, you know, especially in this country, our own, I'm being specific to our own African men. Uh, when I look at the case of Thionga and looking at the age of 85, it's a bit tough to really understand. And I ask myself, are we men really prepared to go that route? Because emotionally, socially, economically, it's going to have a huge impact. And like I said at the beginning, it means that you really have to go back and work. You know, you are poor, your savings, they're going to be impacted. For instance, I said before, when you have in a marriage situation, in a marriage, you are able to balance your money, you are able to come up with a plan. You can you can retire at the normal retirement, and your wife can still work and be able to cover some of the expenses in the household. Yeah, so you don't have to use your money. However, now at 85, you're gonna be impacted. You know, how are you gonna cope up? They're gonna be mental health issues. You really don't understand because it's what you had planned for. Uh, Physically, your health, climbing stairs, the kind of food that you want to eat. Again, having a company which can be able to be socially engaging with you it's not going to be there. Then also coming up with frustrations in life. You know, you are not ready to plan for this. So for me, I think we have to seek support from the professional people. You know, at that age, you need to go seek legal advice. You know, get emotional support, see a counselor to start helping you navigate that route because you are old, and most people who will be within that age group, they'll be having their own issues going through. So I don't think you are going to be reaching out to so many people because everybody has got their own issues going on. So unless now you start changing our dynamics, get a legal advice. When you go through divorce, get a lawyer on property division, how you're gonna go through and how it's gonna impact you, and again your 401k, your financial thing. So uh, we have to be. It's hard to be ready, but I think we need to have resources at hand in case it happens. So these men, they're prepared and prepared to go that route in case it happens. Yeah, circumstances change.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Benson.
Yeah, well, I agree with Sam Mwangi that divorce at such an age is quite devastating. I think some of the factors, in my opinion, that would be resulting in people divorcing at such ages is they grow apart because while they're bringing up kids, everybody is actually centered. Their interest is on the kids, so they do not have probably a common interest, you know, just for the two of them that keeps them really engaged. So at the end of the day, at 85 or at 70, once the kids are out of the house and they're all independent, you kind of get into a shock. You wonder what you've been chasing around, and now you can't see the reason the reason why you need to work hard anymore.
Yeah.
That shock can really, you know, drain these two people because they have lost their connection for probably not less than 20 or 25 years. All this time they have been looking at how do you make the kids, you know, go through school, go through college, and such kind of things. But is there a way that we can prepare for this, or can we probably try and eliminate this? I think as couples, there needs to be a very deliberate measure to realize that the kids that we bring up as family, with the longer lifespans that people are now having, there are chances that these kids are going to disappear into tiny air very soon. as much as we hold them so dear, once they disappear, the mess is on you. They are not going to take your time as serious as it were. So it must be a balance, a deliberate balance between making sure that your significant other is considers you valuable throughout life, so that it's 25 years later that you realize, oh, this is the only person I'm left with here. And I think they have not been smiling all this time. And then they realize probably you have not been treating them very well. So the decision to actually move on in life for them is like, oh, after all, for the 25 years that I've been around, I think it has been either you're talking to the kids and, I've not been in the picture. So I can as well go and join the kids and let you be. So that is one thing I think as fathers that we need to be very deliberate about, so that our spouses, are part of us. We make them involved. We take time to actually acknowledge and appreciate them, so that when those times come, it is a little easier. They take a little bit of time to understand, oh, this person has actually been making sure that, when it's Mother's Day, they are treated well. When it is, occasions like this, you remember. Because we do not actually, in our upbringing, those are not things that by default, other than probably coming into cultures like this ones where they're reminded. In Africa, it's not the norm. Nobody wants to go home with flowers every other day to tell their wives, you appreciate them. So the culture here has changed. Back at home, you wouldn't even probably have such a cases where people are divorcing at those ages, because it is apparent that once you are old enough, you don't even know, the lady would not even know where to go. The parents died long time ago. The brothers do not have space for her. But look at a developed country that there is, where they can be able to go out there, live their life, probably get the 50% of your money or so, and there's nothing you can do about it. So the culture here contributes a lot, and therefore, for us to be able to keep up, I think there needs to be a deliberate change in the way we treat our spouses. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Henry.
Wow, that's a hot topic,
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually more the impact is where we are in developed countries. Because we look at where we come in developed countries, at that age, if you are still alive, you are lucky. One. And then the other thing is, at that age, you already have your grandchildren who have grown up. But the expectation then is, at that time, the room for intimacy is not there much. What is there is about company and companion. You want somebody around you. You want somebody, So when we are here, sometimes we look at it for me, I look at it in different ways. What could have been the cause? Because somehow the laws of this country where we live, depending on whether you are seeking, say, medical and other things, there are times where you want to use the government support to give you that health support. But then when you have assets and you are married together, so the assets you are seeking, your spouse is going to be considered. So there are some time where you find divorce is actually generated by the interest of how are we going to survive? With our money going to be used, all of it? We are going to remain, maybe we need more help and we can't get, Medicaid. So the best thing is we divorce, so that way now I will be able to get what? Medicaid. Yeah.
Oh my, this. Oh yeah, that's a good perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. So financially, from the financial part, remember that is there is hidden because people don't want to say it loud because it will be hard, and because they don't want to say that they are planning to scam or to use the government money instead of their asset,
Okay.
So that element is there for divorce. So we don't know sometimes what may cause it at that late age, but mostly at that age is when you really need, some help.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is not something that we are prepared for. And if it happens, then it is devastating because that person at that age needs a companion. They are not going to be romantic in much a way that younger people are going to be. What they need is somebody to work with, somebody they can chat with, somebody who gives them company. That's the So that's where we need to prepare ourselves. That yes, what are we going to do when we are great and then divorce come, and then we need to look at what is generating it. Is it our way of life? Is it because of financial independence we are looking for? Is it because we need some help because we came this country, we haven't made enough money and we need Medicaid now, sickness has come. So how can I get that Medicaid if I have a home, if I have a house? The government has that house.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you very much. Gentlemen, we have coming to the end of our session, but I want to give you have given, this is a father's gift we have given to fathers, and I would want to give each one of you to give any advice of any topic to the fathers. What advice you can give to the fathers during Father's Day? Let's start with Benson.
Yeah, thank you very much, Daktari, for inviting me for this, discussion. Well, personally, I probably come in and learned a lot from my colleagues here today, and going through what we've discussed and looking at what the future holds. I think fathers out there as the lead or the head of families, there's a challenge that we need to step up. We need to be more outgoing, go out to the community, because that is the only way we can probably create a social life where our families are plugged in. And I think getting to be in community organizations is one big deal, so that we are not lone rangers in this place. We are far away from our motherland. So let's all actually go out there and be part of the bigger community, so that at any point that you're called upon as a group to be able to come in and help each other out, then you're able to do so. And then help is not financial, it's also in terms of advice, as Sam put it. This is the right time for some of us young to be able to actually plug in and learn from experienced people who've been here long enough. What works and what doesn't. It's not a walk in the park to be able to be the person learning the hard way. You actually want to tread where others are, so that you are walking on their back. You are basically using them to be able to do even greater things. Yeah. Thank you.
Sam.
Well, I want to say happy Father's Day to all the diaspora fathers, especially men who are watching this program, because this program is very, very important. Today we're celebrating achievement, and also I strongly say whenever I go to the community, we need to really appreciate our men. Now, we talked about the dilemma of retirement, settling, and divorce. This is real. These issues, they are real, and they are going to impact some of our men in their community. And I want to ask, are you ready? So the good thing about this program is it's very important. Start now. If you know, having information is good, so that you can be able to prepare. You don't want to be caught off guard. Then you start going through depression. You have mental health issues. Then significantly, you don't even have the income to support you. I always say this, and I'm going to say this. When it comes to the issue of divorce, our kids, most of our kids, when I look at the data, they always go on the side where they're on the side of their mom. So fathers, we are left alone. Secondly, again, we need to start engaging. We start now. We have men's group. Join one of the men's group. You need to bring up your voice, and also let us know what you're going through. Open up your voice. Engage the youth. Bring them on the table. Talk to them about the challenges. Let them listen. Be a counsel to them, so that we don't want what you're going now to be a repeat of the future. The cycle should stop with us right now. So our kids, our youth, they can start generating wealth, and that wealth will go over and beyond and create healthy families and healthy fathers. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me to the show. I'll say thank you all fathers, of course, those who are watching, and all this to be a father is a privilege. To be a father is, even the Bible says you are the head of your home. So being the head, I would say that we need to guide our families. We make friends to our children. And we know that our generation, being the first generation of the migrant, it has its own difficulties. But we want to prepare our youth, our young, so that they know they have more opportunities, that they need to put together their asset building, they build their wealth where they are, so that even if they plan to go to Africa, where we came from, they will be more comfortable because they can afford. And the other thing I would say is that retirement planning starts early. We have that, the idea of waiting, but we need actually, when we are going to retire, we need to have a plan. But the plan requires us to think about it and start early, a good plan of retirement, because you need to have a set amount. How much money really do you need in your retirement? What plan do you have for your health? And the other thing I would suggest is that maybe one time we may have an opportunity to talk about some of the investments are available for young kids who can do it. Like now, if we have a life insurance that also covers retirement planning, it so that when you are 65 and above, you can start drawing money from it for your retirement. That's another asset you can use. If you die, the family get the balance. But for you also, you are getting something out of it. So there are some things that we need to talk as fathers, that we need to be ready. And there are so many other vehicles out here that now we know, but some of us who are late, but can encourage the younger ones to take advantage of.
Okay. Yeah, that is a good topic. Mwangi, I think you need to follow up with Henry. You are the global fatherhood guru. If we can arrange and have a conversation. Thanks, gentlemen, for your time. It has been a great conversation, and I hope this will help many people. And I wish you the rest of your Father's Day. Go enjoy with your families, with your kids. Yeah.